Hello world, I'm What If Studia, and today we are doing What If, well, Class 1A had been sent into an Isakai. We continue our story with Deku eating up the rest of the land shark. He's quite satisfied with himself, picking his tooth with the sharp end of one of the rib cages. He suddenly gets a notification. What the heck? He looks closely at this as it says sharp handling skills. What could that mean? Sharp items? Sharp anything? He picks up one of the rocks among the floor and starts sharpening it against another rock, sort of making what is the stone tools of a normal civilization, what the old caveman would do. And as he crafts this, he holds it up like it's some kind of magical thing, and it's like, I have done it! And basically makes a whole cooking supply for himself. He was quite the good cooker. After all, his mother was not great at it herself. He had to learn how to supply for his family back at home. And he loved his own cooking. And hers. Yeah, always hers. Anyways, he continues on to start cooking the shark. Quite proud of himself, he starts eating the shark. However, he did not notice that he was being watched, smelled, and tracked. As he was making his way throughout the dungeon, he's looking at, the different stats that he has acquired since he had gotten into the dungeon. Killing the spider had upped his ink, and killing the tiger shark, the land shark, had gained him the ability to use sharp tools. Both very, very overpowered abilities, if used right. Walking along the floor, he makes these squelching sounds, which he doesn't particularly like. He starts experimenting by climbing on the walls, trying to swing from tree to tree. However, he always returns back to the water on the ground. To solve this annoying necessity in his head, this sort of, suction cup problem, he starts covering his feet with shoes, carrying different leather around with him every single time that he goes out and hunts, which caused him to actually farm on accident to make these leather shoes. He started killing deer and other sort of stuff that end up in the dungeon. However, everything in here is out to kill him. If he isn't fully aware of where he is 100% of the time, he will die with no chance of survival. Nevertheless, almost level 20s are just roaming around too, so he's got to watch out for them. After all, he's almost level 9. What can he do against those? He returns back to the corpse as he's made it his home now, making it sort of a tent right next to the water supply. He's out of, meat from it. As he's thinking about going out and hunting once again, using the corpse as sort of his hut, he keeps a fire inside of it, constantly lit. He had forgotten to keep the fire lit this one night. He starts exiting it, his little tent, bone tent, out of the skull's mouth, and then looks up to see a gigantic squid. Not a squid, actually. An octopus. One that towers above him, almost 15 feet up in the air. As he looks up, he barely even has the time to do that, even. As a swift hit from the tentacles sends him flying straight into the wall. These thick tentacles spanned over a whole foot wide. These tentacles are massive, okay? He shakes his head and looks down to his HP to see that it's almost at, 70%? That's insane. So, just one hit was enough to take away 70%. He's now surviving off of 30. He's like, holy shit! If I get to 0%, well then I die. So basically, he's like, yeah, that can't that's not gonna happen. I need to survive. I need to survive. I need to survive. And this angst, this sort of, wanting to survive, sort of drives him forward, to run at the squid like a madman. After all, the squid had covered all of his exit options, and the squid did not, this octopus did not see this coming. Once he comes out of the dust, wielding his freaking his rock like a madman, he finally gets a good glimpse on the face of the predator. It was a sharktopus. Its face was that of a shark, and its limbs were that of an octopus. He finally sees the full level of it, level 20. This was stronger than anything he had faced before, even stronger than the land shark. He had gotten lucky with that one, too. He's not going to make it out of this so easily, as it bites onto one of his arms and rips it off. However, he uses this to stab it in its left eye with the sharp rock. He's thrown away from it, off into the water as he starts, dashing around the water, covering the bottom of it with ink. The predator swiftly seeks after him, bringing destruction with it. After all, it's so massive that the small coral reef and small nesting area that he was already in was being destroyed just by it roaming around and swimming. Barriers and all these different stuff was knocked down. He takes notice to this as he chucks one of the stones into one of the barriers, knocking it down, hitting the forehead of the sharktopus. This concusses it just temporarily, as then he grabs onto its face and shoots ink into its eyes, temporarily blinding it. However, it bites everywhere. It just starts like rampaging, destroying everything around it. The ruins that had once stood there are now basically diminished. One massive pillar that stood in the middle of the room with runic sigils on it. Deku starts climbing up that all the way to the top. It hears him splash out of the water, something that he did not. He didn't think that it had good hearing. However, he was wrong. It had sonar, and it started using that to find him. As he climbs up to the top of this what would you call it? Totem. That's right, totem. And he looks over, the destruction and all of the ink that he spread around. He's like, "There's no way it could." And then, and it's just in front of him. It does this massive jump as it just like tries to bite onto his head, and he's like so surprised that this shit happened. But he just smiles and it's just like, "Come on, kill me then." As it bites onto his head, his hands and stuff are inside of its mouth, and his head is just outside. He says, "All right, time to use that evolution." Just to give you context for this, evolution is something that he had seen before. When he had leveled up to level 10, he was lying about his level, just in case somebody was watching. Something that he also learned from, being intelligence 123. That directly correlates over to IQ levels. Anyways, he basically gets an option to evolve. He can either evolve towards a variation of a octopus, or he can go with the normal octopus, where he just gets bigger and stronger. Clearly, he doesn't want to since he has to get out of the place, he doesn't want to get bigger, so he goes for variation. However, he halts himself before, and he looks into the things behind it, and all of the special status effects. When you choose that, you will reset completely. Your health, your attack, all of your stats. So, with his arms now inside of its throat, he had planned for this exactly. His health dwindles all the way down to 1 1%. Using Squid's Detach, which basically allows you to survive on 1 HP for 5 seconds, which means that he's basically able to just use all of the rocks that he had collected while he was running away from it, and stabs it inside of its throat, carving out the inside of it as it starts to try to eat his hands, rip them apart. However, it's unable to, as its internal organs are being sliced up and diced into small segments. It roars in pain, letting go of him, and he's fired out onto the beach on 1 HP. And about to die in almost 2 seconds. He can barely keep his last arm that is able to even be moved, or is usable, and he clicks on Variant. He slowly falls, dead asleep. He opens his eyes, blinking, staring around, and then finally fixes his eyes on his hands. He was in his original body, but he was wearing odd clothing, not one from his world, some sort of medieval cloth. But then he hears from behind him. "There you are, asshole. I thought we had lost you back there. God damn it, Deku. You're so goddamn annoying." Bakugo. Oh my god. Todoroki comes up from behind Bakugo, hitting him on the back of the head. And he says, "Stop picking on him, Bakugo. Come on. We already talked about this. Just sit your ass down." As he knees the back of Bakugo's legs, knocking him down to his feet. Bakugo was wearing some strange outfit too, but I'm sure that was normal to Deku by this point. Deku starts laughing his ass off, so happy and elated at the situation. Bakugo looks pissed, however, calms himself as Todoroki holds up his hand, icing it. Todoroki starts laughing with Deku. "What's got you so tickled?" Oh, nothing. Look at that view. They look out to see this open fields, a dragon on the other side, grazing softly. The rest of the world so at peace. No survival, no nothing, no struggles. He was back with his friends. Was this the dream, or was his reality the true dream? Todoroki falls down to his knees. "I think it's over then, Deku." Deku looks back to him, saying, "Right. It was nice, though. Will I get this every time I evolve?" Todoroki says, "Maybe. You'll just have to evolve again to find out." You asshole. Deku shuts his eyes once more, and opens them back up. Huh? He wakes back up. It looks like I'm alive. He can barely see anything as his vision was clouded. He looks around as something is wrong. Something very wrong.
Evolution completed. Good luck.
The screen pops up, and so does a sort of new class decision, where what he had just gotten tells him, "Congratulations on picking your new evolution." Now, it continues to say that this is more focused on general human life, so that basically you're much better at cooking, and also you're able to converse in multiple languages. This is basically designed to go through dungeons, most likely human-made dungeons. He's like, so it was not made for this. However, it continues to say that your intelligence has gone, will go up exponentially as time goes on. He checks his intelligence once more, almost 150 now. Incredible. I mean, that's 150 IQ. It also he gets an achievement too, that once you get to 150 IQ, your body gets automatic reactions to stuff. So now his body, it says, will react to danger by itself, and he won't have to do anything about it. So basically, yeah, he's just amazing. However, what would the other evolution give him? He starts to wonder. However, he can't dwell on it too much, as he starts to hear, yoo-hoo. God, my voice is so bad for this. He looks over and sees these fair maidens of the water. All these mermaids, although they looked half woman, they had half octopus legs. He starts to wander over to them just by the call of their voices. They were quite beautiful just by themselves. He starts to drift on the water, using his legs to just basically jump across the water while keeping his eyes directed straight towards theirs. Locking eyes, he spots one that looks quite ravishing today. He comments her just as the same as I did just now. She blushes and tells him that he's too nice. This place, it's a paradise, is it not? We're supposed to enjoy ourselves. She lays him down onto the rocks in the middle of the totem that had been halfly destroyed by the Sharpedo. She lays her breasts on his chest, getting him quite blushed. Blood starts to rush to his head as he's just like, holy shit, in a dungeon? I mean, like, okay. And then, all of the other, mermaids all start to, like, topple on top of each other, trying to get to him, like, fighting over him. However, she says, don't you just want to be here forever? It's so perfect, he says. Except for the sharks. They say, sharks? What sharks? He looks up to see the totem pole destroyed. I mean, the totem pole not destroyed anymore. Wait a minute. There were no women here before. As he gets up, all the women just start like hissing at him as they look to each other like, how did he know? And they all start to float away as he's like, wait, what the fuck? The totem pole lights up, releasing a gateway around it. This huge gateway, and he's just like, what is happening? And here he hears from long far away these gongs just ringing throughout the rest of this cavern. As they echo off of everything, it's incredible to him. Because he had never heard such symmetry. And, like, this was an actual test. And all he can hear
is task completed. Congratulations. And good luck. On the next floor, traveler.
And, the gate opens up fully this time. He's just quite hesitant to do anything right now. This portal, it seems to go to farther down into the water. As he sticks his hand through and then pulls it out as water comes gushing out of it, as his hand is just wet. So he can make an accurate assumption that the other side of this is, water. before he goes down. Well, we change sides. That's right. We're gonna go all the way back to our friends. Aizawa and the A1 crew. All of them register in as heroes, as, hunters. They get their powers tested out, skills, and also their stats all accumulate to stuff. Almost everybody in the class gets E-ranked immediately. Their power is not very impressive. However, for kids, it's better than F. Except for Bakugo, who gets a D. Aizawa declines the test. However, All Might, of course, wants to, and immediately gets S rank. They're like, that's incredible. Nobody in this country has gotten S rank. Well, except for, the true hero. It's said that he was supposed to come here almost a few months ago. However, it seems like they've sent 100 instead. And you, of course. He says, oh, you're too much. I really just want to start helping this world as fast as I can. Become maybe these people's simple a piece too. Aizawa's like, you're way too greedy. He says, greedy for helping people? No, I am. I just love seeing a nice day. God, you're so lawful good that it hurts. Alright. I'll find my way around this place. First off, we need to get the students situated. So basically, I'm just going to tell you what happens to the students over these next few months. Basically, Aizawa gets all of them to go on their separate ways. He wants them all to learn to be each other's heroes. First one would be Bakugo, who immediately wants to become a hero. Adventurer and fight people. Of course, Aizawa expected this, but wanted other people to go. So he had a tally. Everybody raised their hands. Immediately, everybody wanted to, that's what they had read that they wanted to do, Everybody was like, yes, being a hero and stuff. He's like, no, not all of you are going to go. So he actually selects Uraka, and she's quite confused because she didn't even want to raise her hand. She was forced to she just wanted to go with the flow. However, he says, no, your gravitational spells will greatly help him, and also Kirishima must go with Bakugo. Of course, Kirishima had forced him by dead staring him unless he let him go with Bakugo. And I think that's going to be it for the travelers, for the adventurers. If you want anybody else to be on the adventurers, please tell me. I'm open to ideas. Now, Tsukiyomi actually says that he wants to stick with Aizawa, as Aizawa's on his way to becoming, a lawful, the law holder that becomes basically like a ninja for the people. Tsukiyomi actually asks him if he could join him along with that so that he can train his dark powers so that he doesn't become a villain. Aizawa actually accepts this as he starts to take Tsukiyomi under his tutelage. The rest of the students are listed out as such. Basically, oh boy. Ida becomes the messenger knight. He wears some pretty good armor while bursting around the city as he unlocked the ability Messenger Knight, the class title, and, class in general. That's his thing. And he now starts going between all of the students and giving different messages to different people across the continent. However, finding himself in a lot of fights along the way. That's basically his job. Now, Todoroki goes into fencing academy. He finds it actually quite elegant, and using his eyesight to create an ice rapier was quite the thing to get him in. After all, it was the highest of society, and only the top people of the whole continent would become, fencing academy people, fencing academy students. And he loved to put those little shits in their place using his fire and ice side to basically just trick his opponents into thinking that he's actually going to fence with them. He soon becomes one of the most top students there. Tape guy, he becomes oh my god, what would he be? Alchemist, using his tape to basically throw it and tag stuff onto the back of it, allowing him to basically, return the bottles back to him after it hits them. Also using the sharp, edges of that in a tactical way is quite the tactic. I think actually, I don't know what to do with Froppy. Yeah, I don't know what to do with Froppy. Who else is there? Belly Button Guy. He becomes a shielder and a mage. Shielder mage. Basically, he uses the beam. It has a hole in the middle of his shield. And basically kills anybody in front of it. Yeah. He's pretty overpowered, actually, if you think about it. The beam is supposed to be holy magic. Kirishima unlocks his abilities by killing a dragon later down the road in their adventures. He basically kills a dragon and it unlocks dragon scales, allowing Kirishima to basically have dragon scales. Bakugo unlocks dragon breath, which allow him to shoot a dragon breath through his hands. Basically the same exact thing as he had before, but in an improved state. What else would there be? That brings me to, Mina. Momo. Momo and Mina, I think Momo would actually become a blacksmith. She's quite good in that realm. I don't even have to explain why. And she becomes the first female blacksmith, which is quite the achievement by itself. Mina... she basically becomes a alchemist too. She uses her stuff to help the tape guy throw his bottles of acid, and they become quite the pair. What else? Electric guy? Yeah, electric guy. He becomes a highly renowned magic user with lightning, able to call down lightning with the blow of his flute. Yes, we're going to include magical weapons now. That brings me also to our electricity girl, who is able to use sound wave magic, which she can basically blow off the heads of people if she amps it up enough. No, Ojiro, that's right. Our final man, Ojiro. Yeah, I don't know what to do with Ojiro. I would say that he becomes... He goes out on his own, right? And he starts going into dungeons by himself. Actually. Under Aizawa's tutelage, however, with Tsukiyomi, both of them become huge timing, warriors, known by most. Of course, they're nowhere near the levels of 10, like they're maybe level 3 by themselves. However, right now at least, they become quite the pair. Tsukiyomi waiting, holding up with his crow, just waiting to strike, as Ojiro, distracts the enemy. His tail becomes something of a deadly force. He starts to gain abilities that include just stunning opponents, which it greatly increases their party's, combination efforts. And Ojiro actually goes up to the mother tree later in some of the episodes. But that's only if you got as far as you did into now. Thank you so much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. This has been a joy of creating. I'll be seeing you guys in the next video. I will definitely be uploading a next video. Don't even worry your asses about it. All right. I think I've talked enough. Goodbye.